Yeah, David Newton, ESPN.com. This is for Tony and, I'm sorry, Mike, okay. If you'd address this too, we just seen a situation with Kyle Busch where the sponsor has taken away their partnership for the last 2 races of this season. Tony, you went through a situation years ago with Home Depot where you were fined for a sponsor, for embarrassing a sponsor. Does this all remind you how important it is for your image to be out there and not embarrass sponsors, and how important that is to this sport, that there is a line there that you can't cross that?
Yeah, it's our sport's different than a lot of other pro sports because we are directly accountable to our sponsors. So it is a balancing act because it's a very competitive sport. It's 43 teams out there racing each week, so you have that intensity, you have that passion, and it's sometimes hard to put it in your pocket when you need to and let it out later. But at the same time, it's a good reality check for everybody, I guess. And a lot of times things kind of get off center for a little bit till something happens that brings it back. And this is definitely a situation that reminds all of us of what's on the line and how important it is to these companies to protect their image and to do a good job and accomplish what their goals are with this program. I think the first time I got in trouble with Home Depot was when I started seeing it. But, the great thing is, as much as has happened this week with Kyle's side, the sponsors are pretty forgiving, too, and understand that this is a passionate sport. But, as we've seen this week, I mean, there is a line that they will draw, and they will tell you when enough is enough.
Yeah, and the only thing I'd add is that, obviously coming into the sport as a sponsor, there's options, and we went through a very thoughtful process on who we would decide to team up with, and it really came down to trust in a partnership, and we felt great with these guys, but you have to think about that stuff, and you see how sponsors react too, and so it's just the nature of the sport, I think.
Wolfgang Monser from Germany, Rennsport Press Agency. I have a question to you as a representative of the sponsor. You said earlier you were involved in NASCAR and came back, make a break. Did you look into other kind of racing, other championships instead of NASCAR? And second question, maybe you can clarify a little confusion. As far as I know, there is a company called Outback Bar and Grill, the real Australian steakhouse, as a sponsor for Mark Webber in Formula One. Do you have any connection to this company?
I don't know. We have franchisees in other countries, and so they might be part of that. Although I'm not aware of it, and my team over there is shaking their head no. So we, as we said, we were in NASCAR previously in our history, there's an ebb and flow to these things over 25 years, and this was a good time for us to come back into the sport. We feel like we have a great activation plan. And a great driver and a great team that we're a part of. So it made a lot of sense for us to come back into the sport now.
Bruce. Bruce Meyer with SI.com. Tony, although it's a little bit different, you have the opportunity to be the first owner-driver to win a Cup title since Alan Kulwicki. And just, when you kind of look at it in that perspective, what do you think?
It's a cool opportunity. I mean, it's... chances like this don't come around very often, obviously, because you don't have a lot of drivers that are in ownership roles anymore in NASCAR. So, there's a part of this that is very historic if it happens, and it'd be really cool, especially since we have guys on our team that were a part of that championship with Alan that are in Stewart Haas Racing. That you realize the significance of it because of their involvement and what it meant to them. I think at that part of my life, I just looked at it from a driver's standpoint and saw him winning a championship. He really didn't, I hadn't been a part of any ownership side and really couldn't put my arms around what he was doing from a driver-owner standpoint. But, when you get in this situation, you realize it a lot more.
Okay, well, we're going to take 2 more questions, Jeff, and then David, and then we'll head down to Victory Lane for the car unveil.
Jeff Gluck from SBNation.com. Tony, I'm just curious, in light of everything that happened this week with Kyle, that's what everybody's been talking about. You're in one of the most exciting points chases that we've seen, and nobody's really mentioning it this week. Does it bother you? Do you care what people are talking about at all?
No, because if I take that trophy home, the media is not going to be there anyway. So all I care about is having that trophy. I don't care if anybody talks about it if it happens. All I care about is the accomplishment for our organization. The news this week was big news, obviously. It's something we haven't seen in our sport in a long time, so it's very understandable that it's had the attention that it's had, but it doesn't bother me the least bit that, at least from our side, it's actually made it an easier week for us because we can focus on coming here and worrying about announcing our Outback sponsorship today and actually worrying about the race cars versus all the other stuff that's a distraction.
David Caravella, NASCAR.com. Tony, I don't know if we exactly think of you and Carl as buddies or enemies. I wonder, can you sort of characterize what the nature of your relationship has been with Carl over the years?
Well, we never went out, if that's what you're asking. But Carl and I get along fine, actually. I mean, we don't go hang out together. I mean, it's hard for drivers to spend a lot of time with each other these days like we used to in the past. Our schedules are so hectic that you get a day off and the buddy you might want to go fishing with, like this one on the end, may be gone or vice versa. So, but we get along with each other at the racetrack. We got, the dirt racing that we do, that we've done together at Eldora and stuff that we like. And, we talk about that stuff a lot. But, I guess it's a friendly rivalry if you even want to call it a rivalry. I don't know what the true definition of rivalry is, but he's a good guy to be in a point battle with for sure. I mean, I respect him a lot as a driver and as a person.
Tony, we've heard some drivers talk about controlling their own destiny as we come down to the final races. Between you and Carl, given the past 8 weeks, who's in control right now?
I feel like we are, to be honest. I mean, I think we showed that last week. I mean, we're not racing worrying about where they're at and what they're doing each day. I mean, we're worrying about our car, what we got to do to be fast, what we got to do to win the races, and I think we've responded to that with our actions on the racetrack and what we've done. So I would like to say that we are right now. I mean, we've been able to battle back from a couple really bad races in this chase to be where we're at. So I think we've done a good job.
All right, Mike, Ryan, Tony, thank you very much. If you all would please join us down in Victory Lane, we'll unveil this car. And again, these guys will be available until about 11 o'clock for some more media interviews. Thanks again for your time. Appreciate it.